Rebecca Evans. Welcome to our Keha Talk.
Thank you.
We are here at the Cultural Center Valve, Oulu, Finland, one-to-one art Keha Festival to talk about your piece and the Pell Ensemble's piece, The Hinterlands.
Mm-hmm.
So could you just tell shortly about the piece so the audience knows what we are talking about?
Yes, yeah. So Hinterlands is a mixed reality dance work, which means that the audience is wearing a headset or a VR headset. They see the real world around them, and then they see a virtual layer over that. And in this, we have a live dancer. And this live dancer is wearing a motion capture suit. And this motion capture suit is live streaming that movement data to the virtual layer. So you can see the live dancer, you see a virtual layer, and those two things are moving together and around you in the space. Conceptually, it's about speculative futures or hopeful futures, and imagining what if those were human, digital, and more than human, so animal and nature. And I was interested in extremophiles, tiny little microorganisms that live in very extreme conditions and can adapt to living inside of nuclear reactors or deep thermal vents or even space. So what if we became an entity that could be human, digital, and extremophile in the future?
So there's kind of there's like a hope in that we could actually bond with something that can kind of live in really extremes, and for me, like when I experienced this like really interesting piece was that there were these strange creatures there, and they were somehow. They had this kind of jaws, this kind of, you look at them, they kind of, actually, if I was there, I was a tiny thing that probably might eat me. But on the other hand, they're like quite cute and somehow, but not like cute, but very kind of real. And it was really interesting to look at those things, and they have these spikes or hairs coming out of them. But there's something that you kind of recognize that's from the same planet that's a bit like hands or something, but not quite. And it was kind of interesting to relate to those.
Yeah, so I mean, they
do.
We did base it off of like if you're familiar with your extremophiles, like the tardigrade is probably the most popular of extremophiles, and or water bears they're called, and so it's kind of a hybrid of like underwater creatures, extremophiles, and so we kind of developed our own creature, but also because the creature gets to be like 2 meters tall in the space with you, we also didn't want it to be too intimidating, so that's partly why it's so brightly colored and has that iridescence to it and things like that. So it is big and strange, but hopefully not too intimidating or frightening. It's something that you want to approach and dance with and move with.
Yeah, but it's still somehow I didn't feel that it's kind of my toy that I can just like dance with this thing and do whatever I wish. But it was more like, okay, I kind of have to respect this.
Yeah.
So that was like a good experience.
Like it had its own agency.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe because there's this idea that this is somehow based in reality, that there actually are. I didn't know if the creature was that there's exactly a creature like that living somewhere, or is it? But somehow I still thought, this is kind of based on the real life that is living on our planet. So that kind of makes you also respect it.
Yes, yeah.
Also,
that's interesting.
It would be really nice to somehow like talk about these kind of decisions you have to make when you are creating a piece like this, like the one you made, that it's brightly colored, so it's not too intimidating. Like how you somehow create this piece where an audience member can move and maybe dance with these creatures. How do you kind of guide the audience to do that? Because I know like when you go to the piece, you just kind of do it. But then when there must be like a lot of things that you're kind of wondering how to do this. And it's kind of so yeah, it would be really interesting to hear what kind of decisions you are making there.
Yeah. So I think we think about it coming from a contemporary dance background, we think about it all as choreography. So how are we organizing bodies in space and time?
Yeah.
And then there's scores, so choreographic scores, 3 different scores for us. So we've got an audience score. So what is the audience doing? And what are we thinking about where they're going to be and how they're going to be moving? And then we think about the live dancers score. So where is the dancer going to be? And then where is the digital entity or, the animated kind of 3D creature that is in the space moving around you? So it was actually thinking about, we actually did it in reverse of what I just said. We thought about where the entity was going to be moving in the space. Then we looked at where the dancers were going to be in relationship to that. And then it was actually just about trying it with audiences and seeing what happened. And it was a little bit of like, testing and iterating with audiences always to see how they're going to react. And I think what we found actually about it is that creating a really permissive environment was really important to us. So having the audience be allowed to move as much or as little as they wanted to and still have a good experience really came out of this. So we have audiences that just sit the whole time and love it. And then we have audiences that have moved the entire time and also live it. So allowing people to have some autonomy over how and where and when they move within it has been really important to us, which is unusual sometimes for especially virtual headset experiences where people kind of have to move their bodies, or their bodies become almost like a game controller, and it's like I've got to press this thing and do this thing and touch that thing and do that thing to get through the story. And in this way, that's not required of you. You're there to just experience it in the way that you want to and get as much out of it as you want to.
Yeah, I haven't done very many. I've actually done 2 like art pieces before this, and
or the body is just completely ignored, which happens a lot as well. So that's
out of those, they were kind of different. Like the other one was now the names kind of fail me. Anyways, I missed the names, but it was about there were like 2 people. And kind of meeting each other, and both were having a VR set, and it was like interesting. But it was a bit like that happened, that there were certain things you kind of need to do to kind of make it work. It was good like encounter thing, but it's it was very different than this very open environment. And then I've done this. I kind of remember Skeleton Conductor by Hanna Asefa. The other piece was by Eero Tiainen, but I was trying to remember the name. But then Hanna Asefa, that was more, it had more like the same vibe as this. That was very open, but that was more like it was like just like one person kind of alone exploring a space, which is very open, and that was very kind of a sensitive to your own kind of bodily experience and how to guide that and maybe activate the person. But it was very free and allowing. But the tone was somehow maybe different because you are alone there, and what you do kind of it's a very different thing than and this way you actually there was a lot going on like in the same, because there was the like in the they were in the digital world, there were some things like just like bubbles I could kind of look at, and then I was like and they are kind of going down also like below your feet and up, and but it's somehow like just life, but not very far now. But then there were these like bigger things. I was all the time like processing that, what if I walk through them? Do I hurt them? Do I not? And why do I have to, what's out of them? It was like all this kind of a spatial kind of thing and relation to life. And then there was this entity and like what is interesting to me is the dancer, like, because you're bringing like, it's not like a VR, but like AR.
Yeah, mixed reality. Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mixed reality. So you have a dancer. So what decisions you kind of have to make to when you're bringing in the dancer and the digital world?
Yeah. So, I mean, Antony Deli Luna, who's the dancer, is just really special, an amazing dancer. And also just somebody who's really experienced, especially we needed somebody who would be experienced with improvisation because, again, like all audiences react differently in the space. So it's somebody who can react to that and still stay in the world of Hinterlands. Also somebody who's really good at listening to the other audience member, while also being, just really kind and empathetic. I think to be a guide through the world with that person, give them space when they need to, come towards them when they need to, you know. So I think there's something around that. And for the dancer, they have a structured improvisational score. So there's certain things or kind of instructions that they have at different points, but what they do with those instructions will change depending on how they're reacting to the other person. So there's only, I think, maybe in the 23-minute piece, there's probably 30 seconds of actual set choreography. Yeah. Okay.
What happened to me was that probably because I have some like history with contact improvisation. I used to do that. I still practice it, but I just haven't practiced it for a couple of years. But I kind of still think that it's my thing, also. So somehow, like just seeing the dance and meeting was kind of also like linking with my past and my body with the experiences I have there, and somehow that kind of also helped me to start moving and relating to and sometimes I was watching and sometimes dancing, but I think for me it's like my kind of history of doing contact improv as a pure hobby sometimes is kind of what was activated, and it was really nice because I haven't had a chance to do that for some time. So I was just happy to move, and somehow when you actually it activated this in me that through my body and movement I'm taking contact with another person, and then when I've done that, it's easier to take contact with also some other entity that's a digital. That's kind of very clearly kind of what happened to me that I really liked, and I loved. It was so nice in the end when the entity was kind of following my. Oh, so much fun when I kind of realized,
that is quite a magical moment when the entity, it's attaching to your headset location. So as you move, wherever you move, it comes
so
with
I kind of spiral and I was like, oh, yes.
It is
so
really
much fun.
Yeah.
Because you kind of go through so many states when you go there. First is bubbles and life has not really formed, and then you are like watching out and is that scary? Is that not? Am I hurting someone? What is going on? And then you're just like, I'm just dancing around here.
Exactly.
Really
having some fun and play.
It was super nice.
But but I think some of what you're speaking to, I think or what comes to mind when you're speaking is the I forget the exact scientific name of it, but it's like when you stand in a superhero pose and then your body, your cortisol levels drop. So the way that you move your body can inform, it's the somatic system of the mind-body system all working together. So as you do certain movements, that makes you feel a certain way and experience the world and shifts the whole physiology of the body. So I think that's what's also really exciting about this work is getting people to reach or move slowly or, kind of float or, all these different kind of qualities, and how does that inform the sensation in the body and then also inform the experiencing of the work as well. Yeah.
How is the experience of the people who kind of like to more just stand or sit and watch? Have you had like any like audience experience from them? Like how do they kind of feel the
Yeah.
thing?
I mean, it's really, I mean, I think that's something that we've been, there's been so many things that I think we've come with a lot of assumptions about movement equals enjoyment.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case at all.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people come in and sit, and we're like, oh, I hope that they're like sit, legs pulled in quite tight in the body. And we're like, oh, I don't know if they've enjoyed that. And then afterwards, that was amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And so while movement is wonderful, it's not a requirement to enjoy it. And that's been really nice to kind of also
maybe you
see.
can be like this, and there's a really big dance floor inside you. And then
exactly.
you can kind of,
that's
you
a really
can kind of pretend to move, but you can be really kind of stiff inside. That's also like possible.
Really great way to put it is like what inside is dancing. That we can't see, and feelings sensation wise that we can't see. So it's and sometimes, you know, there's people that just maybe we have an assumption of how somebody might move, and then all of a sudden they're doing this other incredible movement, or it's more delicate, or it's bigger, it's smaller, you know, like it's one of my favorite things to watch, is just watching how people move and react to the world, and what kind of comes out, I think often subconsciously through movement in the space as well. It's also like, I imagine that's like quite a privilege to be able to kind of see people. It is a real privilege. It's like, I think it's what, I feel very, very lucky to be able to sit and watch, and that people allow me to do that.
Now came to my mind that it would be interesting to hear something about your experience on this festival, since you've done this same piece now for some time, right? How old is this piece now?
So we premiered it last year in the autumn, around this time. In October,
so it's not that old, but you've done like previous work too, and like what kind of context do you like present your work? Like very different ones, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we've done like the, you know, kind of normal stage proscenium march kind of setting. We've had audiences on tablets changing the dance sound and projection. We've done in the round work where the dancers are have wearable spatial sound systems that they're wearing, and their movement moves the sound around people. So my work is very slowly crept out of a proscenium arch into more intimate, immersive, interactive kind of settings. So this is the most intimate and immersive kind of work that we've done. So
this piece, where have you taken it before?
So we did our kind of world premiere at Art VR last year in Prague, and we won the grand jury prize, which is really exciting. It's very exciting.
Yes, great.
Very exciting. And then we went to Embodied Realms, which is in Poland, in Poznan, and we went to Digital Body Festival, which is in London, Athens Digital Arts Festival in the spring, and then Istanbul Digital Arts Festival as well. So it's been really interesting to see where it sits, because it's quite a unique work with live performance and headsets. And it's been really exciting to share it also with so many different audiences.
So for you as an artist, like on our festival, is there something that's different, since we have this one-to-one concept? Is there something compared to other festivals? Is there something? And I'm kind of curious if there is something. What is it that kind of comes out here in this context? So we were reflecting on this last night as a team, and because usually it's 3 people in headset and one dancer, and so this is this one-to-one setting, and so I think when there's 3 audience members and 1 dancer, people are very aware of like dominating the dancer's attention, you know, because you might have that for a bit, but you don't want to be like there all the time, because you're aware that there's other audience members. So I think in this one-to-one, what we've seen is just like
a lot more movement.
Yeah.
And then this kind of the person is really journeying with Anthony like the whole time.
Yeah.
And is having this very it's a much more, I think, intimate experience between the two, because it's this consistent thing that builds and continues for 23 minutes rather than something that you kind of dip into and go back in and out of.
Yeah.
And it's I think that's been really, the intimacy, the amount of movement, I think has been really special.
Yeah, that's super super interesting to me, because we always kind of we would like to offer a platform that would kind of give space to kind of experiment also new things with this one-to-one form. And the idea is that maybe not like all art can't be like one-to-one art, but the idea is that, well, if you do a one-to-one art, sometimes you might discover something that you can also maybe use in your other work or something.
I think it's really I think it's really exciting, and it makes me, I think what I really enjoy about the festival is that there is a real like holding of space for something that is small and intimate experience, and the importance of that. And I think especially coming from like right now with a lot of headset experiences, everyone wants to think about how to distribute it and to get more and more audiences in it through it. And so it's really nice to come and have a space held for like, no, this is important to have these very intimate experiences between audiences and performers. And I think that's an important thing to continue.
Happy to hear. Is there something else? What do you think? Are we kind of done? Or,
I was going to say, what else was I going to say?
We are looking at each other, but now I kind of turn around and face the audience. There are a few people here. Would anyone like to ask Rebecca something? Any ideas? Yes, there is an audience question.
Hi, I'm Jaakko, and I'm a sound artist, and even now as we speak, I'm watching my own code stuff from my computer, and I have to say I admire your capability of being sensitive and still seeing the body and the subtle qualities with the, can I say this word, shitloads of work. And could you talk a little about how can you handle such a big group who work with you? And how has it been? Like, what has been the difficult parts? What have been the easy parts? Thank you.
Good question. So we've been working with digital for about 10 years now. And I would say the first time I jumped into a piece where there was probably a team of 10 people, front-end developer, back-end developer, somebody doing like the VVVV, so the whole interactive system, dancers, lighting, costume, animator. It was a very steep learning curve. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was a steep learning curve. And it was really challenging. I think it's about all those tools of how you help all the team members communicate to hold the vision together. And I think, it's finding, I think especially in the last 10 years, a lot of those tools have become more available, so I think that making sure everyone's on the same page and holding the vision. I think having your priority list and knowing what is the must-have thing, and then what are the things that it would be really nice to have, but you just don't have the time to do them. So what is the thing that's going to make it functional and work as a story? And then what are all like the other extras that you'd love to have on top, but maybe we don't have time for? And I think that's the biggest one that I see for myself, but also for I think other artists working with digital, is that it's the jump to like the big, super exciting thing, and just wanting all of that right away. And I think it's like knowing that it's taking those steps. And also audience testing has been like building in the time for audience testing, and allowing that to really inform like the work as well, which that was really new for me coming from dance, where for the most part you make a work in the studio and then you put it on stage. And actually with digital, it's like people actually have to interact and use the thing that you're making. And so building in the time to have audience testing and then allowing that to actually change the piece. But I really enjoy that now, and it makes it exciting. What else? Yeah, I think those are the biggest things that have helped. But it's also time. Like it's knowing. I think I also jumped in going in a dance studio again. Like we go and we're trying to, I would say, excavate the work in real time. So you might have an idea, but you don't totally know what it's going to look like at the end. And you do that over like 3-4 weeks quite intensively. And in digital, it's actually like almost the opposite. Like you have to be so clear about what you're making at the beginning. So it's trying to marry those two systems a little bit and make room for like just tech time, just dance time, and when those two things like actually come together. So yeah, but yeah, it's definitely been 10 years of like a very steep learning curve and processes, and each one is different. You know, like I think of it like making a totally new instrument. So it's like you're making an instrument that you don't know what it looks like and you don't know what it sounds like. That's the first step. Second step is learning how to play the instrument. And then the third step is like actually playing and making with it. And I think, yeah, sometimes we don't always get time to get to that third thing. Yeah. So it's like that because you're making whole new digital technological setups and no one has done this before. No one knows how to do it. And so you're just trying to figure a lot of this out along the way. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions in your mind? Silence is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Thank
you.
That was great.